Hey everybody, welcome back to the Planes Transit Comic Book Channel. My name is Matt, and today we're doing a review of the Berserk Deluxe Volume 1 hardcover. So let's get right into it. First things first, I am not a big manga reader. This is one of the first mangas I've ever kind of got into. Um, this is going to be like a half spoiler review. I'm not going to spoil everything in this book. There's a lot that happens, and it kind of be just me telling you everything. So I'm just gonna hit the main key points, talk about what I liked about it, what I didn't, and then give it a rating, and hopefully that interests everybody enough so that you can go pick it up yourself. So, um, but yeah, this one I really liked it. I mean, it's manga, so things about it that are different for all you who don't know. Manga is, obviously Japanese comics. These volumes are pretty thick. These are I think it's like the first three little manga volumes because they came out in smaller volumes originally, and then it was considered good enough, I guess, that it was released by Dark Horse in these big fat volumes. And one thing about it is you read them backwards. So you start, the cover is actually on the back of it, and then you read it back to front, kind of in American, or like the opposite of how you do in America. So um, this book is about a guy named Guts, and Guts. It takes place in kind of like a dark fantasy realm. Um, I don't think it would be considered our world, but whichever world it is, it's definitely like a fantasy kind of medieval style world. And the main character we're introduced to is named Guts. And right away, first thing about this book, this is not a book for kids. This is a very hardcore explicit book, and it lets you know that from the first page. The first page is our main protagonist Guts, and he is having sexual relations with a woman, and there's some nudity. And what it turns out is, as he's having sex with this woman, she eventually turns into a demon, and then he kills her with his giant sword while he's naked and everything, and kills her. And so basically, it's just like letting you know this is what this manga is. This is a manga where we're not really gonna pull any punches. There's some crazy shit, um, but from that point on in the beginning, like it gives you this like introduction, and then it's like okay, kind of standard story at the beginning. I'd say maybe the first two-thirds of this book are fairly um, what I thought it was going to be, where there is a guy and he's on a mission. We don't know exactly what, but he's trying to kill evil things, demons and whatnot. We don't know why, and um, it's just him going, from town to town, place to place, and killing demons. But this one starts off with that scene, I think, to let everybody know exactly where we stand, and what you're going to get into later on in this book. So I've heard it gets a lot more graphic and a lot more messed up later on in some of the later volumes, but as far as this one, it does get messed up, and there's definitely some crazy shit, but at first it lets you know this is what's crazy about it right away. So uh, like I said at the beginning, there's that scene where he kills a demon after having sex with it, and then he goes on his journey and he kind of runs into a town where there's like an evil duke or whatever, and that baron or what, like the head of this overseer of this area is going to be or he's like evil and he's like eating people in the town, and obviously he's like a demon of some kind. So of course Guts is like, I need to kill this guy. Um, One thing that's interesting about Guts is he's not very likable. He's kind of harsh and mean to everybody else he meets. He doesn't really have time for anybody. All he cares about is killing demons, and he's not really nice to anybody who tries to help him or or anybody that can't protect themselves for sure. He's like, get out of my way. You're just wasted space. If you die, it would actually be easier for me to like kill this thing or whatever. So he's not a very nice person. And then also, uh, he has this sword that's just a slab. Like I enjoy this. It kind of reminded me of Final Fantasy VII, where you get like this just I think it's called the hard edge or whatever blade, and it's like Cloud's hard edge blade is just a rectangle of steel. There's no edge on it. It's just a straight block that's like 2 inches thick, and that's basically what his sword is. It's just a block of metal, and he cuts things in half with this. It's very violent, very graphic when he actually does get to the fighting. Um, he has a brand on his neck that I guess leaves him open to like demon attacks. We don't really know why exactly that's happening yet, but basically he can see like the demon world and they're always trying to attack him, and it's because of this brand he has on his neck. And if you see on the front cover, this symbol is the brand that he has on his neck. And so um, yeah. Oh, I should mention this is by uh, Kentaro Miura. That's the author and artist of this book. So, really good art in this. There wasn't anything I really thought was bad or rushed or anything. It seems like in manga, the first like couple pages are like painted or some other kind of fancy art, and then it goes into the regular manga line art after that. But that's like every chapter kind of starts with that. So that's kind of cool. Kind of mixes it up a little bit. See like multiple styles from the same artist, which is cool. Um, but yeah, this basically the first beginnings of this book are Guts putting himself in predicaments in order to get closer to these demons so he can get close enough to kill them. I think in the first one he gets arrested on purpose so that he can like be tortured, and then when the guy comes, like the head baron or whatever comes to see this prisoner who he's like he knows is trying to kill him, he's like, "Oh, I will go see him," and then he's close enough to kill, basically. So, yeah, Guts walks around. He doesn't. He also is missing an arm, but he's got like a. It's kind of like Army of Darkness, where he's got like a mechanical arm, and there's a cannon inside of it. Somehow, it's like a gun that shoots like cannon balls or like little mini pellets out of it. So it's pretty awesome. But that's like his kind of trick up his sleeves a lot of the time. uh, he also has like I believe like a crossbow that attaches to it that shoots a lot of arrows fast. So it's kind of like his secret weapon or whatnot that can take people by surprise when he's not just kept murdering them with his sword. Uh, but yeah, on his journey, he like makes a friend, we'll call him, named Puck, is like this little fairy elf thing that he does not like very much. Puck is trying to help him out all the time, and he's just a total bastard to him most of the time. But yeah, like I said, this really kind of feels the similar through most of like the first 2/3 of it, where like Guts is going through to this town, or he's on a mission to kill the next demon, whichever one that is. And each one's kind of unique. We find out that these demons, the way that these humans become demons or get possessed is they have to sacrifice someone or something to these demons in order to get this power. Some people do it on purpose, like they know they're going to get this certain power and they sacrifice things that matter to them, like their family members or whatever, to get it, and that's what kind of corrupts them at the end. And then other people that become demons have like done it out of necessity in their mind. Like it's not like they wanted to become a demon. It's just that's what's happened when they got when they were offered it, and they were offered like power kind of under the guise of like, well, all I ask is this one thing, and once you say yes, then we'll talk about what that thing is. And then it ends up being like, oh, you got to murder someone. So so more some people are trapped in it or tricked into it, but either way, they're like demons now, and they're killing townspeople and townsfolk and going crazy. After he defeats the first guy who's like eating people in the town, he goes to the next town. with an even more powerful badass demon. And this guy's like an inquisitor. He's basically like a holy knight. He has his own inquisitions where he like tortures people and is like killing people in the name of God, trying to get witches and pagans out of his town. So he's always like on a witch hunt and whatnot. But it turns out he's actually like a demon himself. And then we find out more about what happened and why how that happened and exactly what's going on. But one thing that he's got, and this is where the book kind of started to take a turn, is his backstory leads into this section, this back fourth of this book. And the back fourth of this book was fucking crazy. Like, it was basically like, okay, in his possession, uh, Guts finds it after he kind of gets captured by this guy. But basically, they find this thing called a behelit, and it looks like a round like an egg, but it's got all these faces and everything on it. And this is where I started to get like flashes of things that I like, other lore, movies and stuff that I appreciate a lot and like a lot, that is found in this book. And the main reference I'm going to be using here is Hellraiser. So, so you might recognize some of these themes or things that happen in this book. Basically, this Behelit is the cube, that opens the gateway to hell, and we find out that this pagan hunter, that is the head of this town, he uh, had gone out, uh like he was going out all the time murdering all these witches and pagans and stuff. And it turns out his wife got somehow seduced by these dark practices, we'll say. And he came back early from a trip of murdering these pagans to find his wife, let's just say, like in a big orgy of crazy sexual hedonism with like a Baphomet statue. So there's like the goat, like the the literal like Temple of Satan Baphomet with like a goat head, and he's like doing his thing, whatever, is with his hands. And she is literally humping it, and he's like, "What the hell?" And he goes on a rampage, and that's how he ended up becoming a demon. He's been corrupted, but he doesn't want to be fully corrupted. He's tried to keep his daughter safe, but he won't let her like leave or anything, and she can't like leave her room or the castle at all, pretty much. And so Guts, in the process of fighting this guy, uh, the Behelit that he had that he stole from this guy, um, opens up, and what it does is it creates a portal to hell. And when they get there, they get taken to this portal, and we see that it's kind of like a big maze, very reminiscent of Hellraiser 2 in the labyrinth, where there's like all these. Well, this is more like stairs. It kind of looks like that painting of the stairs that go into multiple different stairs. It like starts at the top, goes down, and then ends up back at the top when you go through all the stairs. So it's a bunch of those put together. It's kind of like a big maze, but it reminded me a lot of the labyrinth in Hellraiser 2. And then like literal Cenobites from Hellraiser start appearing, and they're like, "Oh, like, join us," like kind of thing. They start freaking out. Uh it's Guts, and then the daughter is there. Yeah, so basically he gets taken to this hell dimension, and like that's like he escapes from there, I believe, after he talks to them. I don't like we just go into exactly what's going on. Like he wanted to get there because he wanted to kill the main Cenobite guy. We don't know exactly what their history is, but that was why he stole it in the first place, was to get back to this dimension which he's apparently been to before. But his brand, whenever it gets to these like close to evil, starts to bleed and hurt really bad and kind of incapacitates him. So when he was about to attack the head Cenobite guy, it like, oh, and they're called the God Hand, I should say. So the head God Hand guy, um, it incapacitates him, and then he eventually falls back and like can't do anything. And when he's about to get killed, he ends up being able to escape and brings the daughter, I believe, too. So uh it's very reminiscent. Like once the Hellraiser stuff happened, where he's going into hell dimensions and there's like all these Cenobites and everything, it gets like on a different level for me. Especially, I was like, oh, this is like crazy. Especially like the story of the Inquisitor's wife, and like how she fell into paganism and all this craziness. So it's really crazy story, but like in a good way. I like that Guts isn't really likable. Um, he's always mean to everybody pretty much. And then you kind of get to see why. At the very end of this, it like cuts to him as a child, so we get to see like how he was born and some of the things that happened there. Like, for example, he was born after his mom was hung uh, for witchcraft. He was born. He fell out of her as she was hanging from the tree, and then he was raised by like a blacksmith, I think. Not a good start to life, as we kind of get to see why he's so messed up, but then it kind of cuts off right there, just in time for volume 2. So, but this book, it went from like, yeah, it's pretty solid. I enjoy strongman books, kind of like Conan or um, any kind of stuff like that. Like Dragon Ball Z, even, where you're just like following these guys that get more and more powerful. They seem to be invincible a little bit, but they always come up against someone at a different level than them. But they can always kind of overcome. And this, I don't really know where it's going other than, I mean, he might die. I don't know. I assume he's the main character through the whole book, but maybe he's not. I don't know. I haven't read most of it. So, but in this book, he is the main character. And I like how they kind of throw you in the middle of this story and then they cut to a different time period and like start at the beginning of his life. So they kind of leave you hanging right as it was getting interesting, but just makes you want to read more fast so you get back to kind of what happened and who are those godheads and what is this, what is this world and why does his scar or his brand hurt and everything. So it's pretty interesting. um yeah, there's also like weird stuff like he he has these visions of like this weird slithering, I don't know what it is, some kind of humanoid thing. I don't know. It's really fucking creepy. Whenever he's like trapped in a prison cell, he'll be like about to sleep and then he'll hear slithering and he's like, "Oh, you're back. Get away." Like he starts freaking out, it's like, the hell is that thing? So it's really weird. But it keeps you like, what is it? I want to know. I got to read more. So yeah, I'm this for like a first manga. I mean, especially if you like kind of Conan or dark fantasy or uh you can read violent or very messed up books and you like that kind of stuff, like Game of Thrones or something, this probably would be up your alley as far as if you wanted to get into manga. I don't, I started with this volume, like this style, this format, because everybody I know likes this book. So I was like, well, I'll try the deluxe format because I don't want to have to buy it twice. So I'd rather buy this once than and not like it and sell it than buy like the 3 mangas and then decide I do like it and then buy it again in this hardcover. So it's nice that they're putting them out like this. As far as I know, all of them are still in print, and you can get them like half off on Amazon. So that's a pretty good deal for the nice binding and everything on them. They do come with like a bookmark and stuff too, so keep your pages well. You can mark where your pages are and everything. So pretty good. And then like here's some of the artwork. It's very manga-ish. I will say, even though this is like, I don't know, maybe a 600-page book or 500-page book, and it was a very fast read. Um, it goes super fast. There's a lot of pages of just fighting where you see like like, so you don't have to read a bunch. It's mostly fighting, mostly um there's very little talking um in this book. So, oh, there you see that's the behelit, this round egg thing. It's got lips and a nose and an eyeball and everything. So, yeah, but there's some crazy shit in this book, and I enjoyed it a lot. Um, and I want to continue. So I'm gonna give this for like a first volume, especially, but I'm gonna give this a 4 because it took a little bit for I was waiting for it to kind of get unique or get to the story that like everybody talks about, like to that level of wow, everybody likes this. Because like I said, everybody I heard that read this is like, oh, this is fantastic. So I was liking the, okay, he's a strong man, killing demons, going to the next town, kill more demons. Cool story, but then once it kind of got to that next level after the first demon, and then it gets to the second one, that second demon's got the story that kind of sets up all the whole hell dimension and all that stuff. So very cool ideas taken, or I don't know if I mean this was written in 1988, I believe, so it is after Hellraiser. I don't know if this writer saw Hellraiser and was like, "That's it, I got a manga idea. I'm gonna totally like take that and run with it," kind of thing. So very cool. But yeah, I'm gonna give this a 4, a solid 4 out of 5. Um, it was a good read. It was fun. It was fast for how much how thick these books are. I think I read it in like 3 hours. So um, it was actually maybe even less than that, maybe like 2 or 2.5. So it was a pretty quick read, and I enjoyed it a lot. I'm definitely going to do a review of number 2. I haven't started that yet, but it's on my list. Probably this next month, it's on my reading list. So we'll check in after I read that one. So if you guys will, just comment down below. Let me know what you guys read. Have you read this? What'd you think of Berserk? Is it one of your favorites? Is it not? Like, I know that I tried to watch the anime series and I didn't really like that. It was on Netflix. And I watched like the first episode and I was like, it's not my thing. Maybe I'm not the target audience for this, but I've heard from everybody who reads the manga that the anime sucks and the manga is way better. So, from what I could tell, I was totally into this, and the anime I was not. So let me know what you guys think of this. Comment down below if you would like, share, subscribe. And I got some more reviews coming out. I've got a review of the complete Bone Saga. I got another manga review on Vinland Saga Volume 1. So check those out when they come out. We're trying to make this more of a regular thing. And we'll see you on the next one. Bye.